Right, so Ward 29 residents in Mqanduli in the Eastern Cape are protesting over poor service delivery. They're vying to continue the strike until the Premier intervenes. The town has been brought to a standstill. Newzroom Africa's Liyema Vumisa joins us live from that strike. Liyema, good afternoon to you. These residents having been out there in the streets for much of the day, but talk to us about, I think from the beginning, some of the bigger issues that they're raising and if they are feeling heard.
Very good afternoon to you, Naledi. Well, as you rightfully mentioned there, it seems as though some of the, at the core of some of those pleas and perhaps the demands or even the grievances that they have from the office of the Premier are, amongst other things, primarily, coming from the service delivery issues. I mean, we're talking about water, electricity, some of the roads, and we understand that this day, which is Wednesday, is their third day of them having, shut down practically this town of Mqanduli. Of course, having garnered many support from other, community members to come down to this very area to, essentially barricade and close majority of those national and even provincial roads. We understand then that as a result of that, trucks have had to, be delayed in terms of delivering in other provinces. Even motorists have had to struggle as a result of them having put this very same town into a standstill. At the heart of what they want is the attention of the office of the Premier. In fact, they wanted the Premier himself. Now, you'd understand then, Naledi, that the Premier of the province of the Eastern Cape, that is Oscar Mabuyane, has since taken a leave, but right now in his acting capacity, that would be then at the MSc of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Mr. Zolile Williams, who is the acting Premier, has in fact arrived at this very same congregation that has these multitudes and really the number of people that have gathered here. As it stands currently, some of these residents are taking chances amongst each other, trying to, express some of the grievances that they have. And I can tell you certainly, Naledi, that the MSc or even the acting Premier, that is Mr. Williams, together with some of the other delegation, I did happen to see the executive mayor of the OR Tambo district as well, Councillor Mqanduli. They are listening attentively to some of those grievances. Thereafter, we understand then that they too will give a briefing, at least as far as the government intervention is concerned, and whether or not they're going to be able to address some of the burning issues that these very same residents are raising. But what we understand is that at the heart of everything, at least the consensus that we are being told by the leader of the community here is that they are in fact going to agree on a certain number of days, after which the Eastern Cape government would have concluded then some of his intervention within the departments that are involved. Thereafter that certain number of days, he will then be reporting back to this very same residents, at least with a way forward of what is going to happen. So as far as the protests are concerned, we are only relying then on that consensus that shall be reached right behind me at this current moment, Naledi.
Yeah, and of course that seemingly being able to calm some of those residents a little bit as they look forward to those solutions in comparison to much of the frustration that we would have seen in the previous 3 days.
Certainly, what we understand is that at least today, after the community leaders were able to take up the stand and really engage some of the South African Police Service members and even engage some of the local municipality officials so that they can be able to, pass on the message, for lack of a better way of putting it, to their superiors, so that ultimately we can be able to report that there was a consensus that was reached. So I can assure you that on the first day and even the second day, the situation was a bit tense. And Naledi, we understand all of these roads, matter of fact, you couldn't be able to pass. But at least today, even when we came to this town, we were able to locomote in and out of the town, even though as you exit and leave and go to the other places, there still is a bit of stones and tires that were bent on the roads. But certainly today, they seem to be more calm. In fact, even allowing a way for the officials, including that convoy of the acting premier, to descend and come to this certain area. But we understand that as they are having the discussions right now, certainly they need to reach a consensus with the community members who seem to be a bit hostile, by the way, Naledi, because they have been claiming that they were requesting the office of the premier for quite some time right now, and thus they may explain their hostility. But certainly we have not witnessed any violence of that extent, other than the burning of tires and also the stones, and we shall be able to listen in then and hear whether or not the Eastern Cape government, as led by the acting premier, will in fact reach that consensus with the community members.